broken soul in a wonderland without angels. That is how I
Yes.
All right, so I think we got that worked out now. No, we did not hear you enter, Aries. We see it now. Holy crap! All right, is this actually working now? Welcome, guys, everybody here. We have a very exciting game coming up here between All One Lane and Always Hostile. I will be casting this game. I'm Fridge, and I am here with my good friend.
His ingenious casting partner. Hey everyone, it's Blaze, and in a few minutes, we're going to be jumping straight into the action as All One Lane takes on Always Hostile, the new team that managed to pick up a 2-0 against Guardian Gaming just not even an hour ago.
Yeah, and they looked really solid in that series as well. A lot of good map rotations from them. Very solid play throughout the entire team. And I'm excited to see if they can manage to keep that up for this game against All One Lane. It looks like we're about ready to get into the champ select.
Indeed. Before it starts, any bans or picks that we should expect to say?
I know that the Renekton was played in the top lane against Guardian Gaming for both games. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kaiser pick that again if it isn't banned. The Malzahar was relatively popular. I know we banned that against them. I'm not sure if we would see that if it's open or not. Other than that, they're a team that is really open to playing a lot of different things. The Sejuani was popular. There's the Renekton ban right off the bat. They don't want to go against that.
I think we're going to definitely see Zach Pictor banned here. He's been incredibly consistent in just making plays happen for his team throughout the entire split so far. So I definitely think we're going to see a Zach ban in the first phase of the bans, and if not, definitely a pack.
Yeah, Zach, one of the best engagers in the game. I would not be surprised to see that ban. We see a Jinx ban coming out. I don't know actually how much Jinx Animaniac plays, but I know between him and Tits in bot lane, they have both been a really solid bot lane and capable of winning in pretty much any situation, really.
They ban away the Thresh and the Caitlyn. So for very specific bans coming out from both sides, there's the Zac ban.
Not a huge surprise.
Not a surprise, really.
See what they put a priority on here. Looks like it might be the Galio. Hovering it right now, and that's locked in, so we're going to see that. That's a nice little flex pick. It could go top or it could go mid. I mean, hell, I've seen it support.
Yeah, it could go anywhere. Probably going to be for mid lane or top lane, though. I don't think Green Boys has put it on support. And we're going to see what Always Hostile answer with seeing that Galio pack.
I'm almost expecting the Sejuani pick. That's a good flex pick. I know Kaiser's played it in the top lane. We saw them play it in jungle earlier. But they're going to lock in the Rakan. Very solid pick. I know Tits played a really good Rakan earlier today. Absolutely. So, nice comfort pick for him.
See, are they going to follow with the Xayah Rakan lane? They have the option to, and with Caitlyn and Jinx banned, it wouldn't be a bad idea with the second phase of bans coming up soon.
There's Sejuani. Kind of expected that. It's like I said, a good flex pick for them as they both the jungler and top laner play it. So we'll see where they end up going with that. But possibly a Morgana to counter that CC.
Possibly, and it may well be the case for Green Boys coming in here, and it is going to be the Morgana pickup.
And
followed by
an
instant Shen. So very tanky, very sustainable team comp coming out of All One Lane. Let's see what Always Hostile round out the first ban phase with.
Yeah, and the Jarvan, I don't another kind of a flex pick. I've seen it more so in the top lane, but it certainly
With the
can go
Sejuani
jungle.
It looks like it's going to be in the top lane, though.
More than likely, yes. That's what I would expect. And I'm excited to see. Now, I've seen some Gallios building a lot more AP since his changes. I don't know that that's the best idea, or I don't know if it's a good or a bad idea, to be completely honest. So I haven't really played Galio since. So
Either way, a
We'll see.
very strong team comp coming out of Always Hostile so far. They have a lot of AoE, crowd control, and lockdown. And all one lane noticed that and think, all right, you guys are not going to get the Orianna. They're not going to let them go full wombo combo.
no, that could have definitely been a devastating pick if they wanted it in the mid lane. But for obvious reasons, banned out. Not wanting to go up against that. Master Yi ban, don't really see that one too often.
No, very niche ban indeed, but that's how Always Hostile are going to round out the ban phase for them. The last ban coming in from all one lane. Let's see what it's going to be.
Fine, I'll just be over
Yeah,
there.
alright.
Xayah.
There's the Xayah
Bit of
ban.
feathers.
Not gonna let the Zyragon happen. Taking away the AoE potential that could be there for Always Hostile, but it's still there. Just not so super
Potentially-
potent.
Potentially Callista to answer. That is still a lot of mobility for the Rakan with that Callista ult added onto it.
Incredible amount of distance Rakan can already cover. So imagine it with the Callisto, it's a incredible long range engage coming in here for Always Hostile.
Yeah, plus the Sejuani ult, that's a lot of CC. And
Think we might see a Caitlyn just due to that long range from
Caitlyn is banned though.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
she's
would
banned.
expect maybe Tristana
Alright, Tristana.
looks like it's gonna be coming in.
A safe pack coming in for all one lane. They
And the
do
Cho'Gath.
not want to get.
Is it I was hoping we were gonna see the fridge special.
I don't think they're gonna go with the Katarina pack. A little too risky. Hovering Rumble so far. And
Tito.
Teemo, alright. Where's it gonna go with this one? Actually, it's gonna be
Evelynn
the
for the
Evelynn
jungle.
pack.
Very interesting that Evelynn can really get them rolling. If he gets ahead on it, they could really carry the game with the Evelynn alone. But Evelynn, of course, if you fall behind, very, very hard to make a comeback. And they're going to match with Elise over on the side of Always Hostile here.
Indeed. Very interesting picks out of the jungle from the looks of it. So, who really has the matchup advantage in this?
That's hard to say. And a 1v1, Elise should win early if he can land the cocoon. Something we haven't made note of yet is it's actually going to be a Jarvan in the mid lane, which is something you don't see all the time. But I'm wondering that might go pretty well into the Galio, who's going to have the extra magic shield, not AD. So
not AD at all. And perhaps neutralizing that magic shield completely, but I've never actually seen Jarvan mid being played before. I think Galio would have the advantage in the matchup because with the Justice Punch, he can interrupt the combo, and he can also just has long range to poke. Where Jarvan, if he pokes with his Dragon Strike, that's a lot of the engage potential just gone out the window right there.
that's a lot of his mobility just in general, too. If he gets ganked, he won't have that to escape if he uses it to poke. So we'll see if he decides to play it a little more aggressive or a little passive, farm up, and try and get a couple items to maybe one-shot the Tristana later on.
I think definitely walking into this game, there's a compositional advantage for Always Hostile, but if you're on the side of L1 lane, what do you really do against a team with that much AoE crowd control? You're against Sejuani, Jarvan, Rakan, Kalista, you get into team fights. How do you really negate that?
I think for all one lane, they certainly scale into the late game really well with a Tristana and a Shen. They have some decent pick potential if Morgana can land a binding. Those bindings last way longer when they're on you than it feels like they do on an enemy. So certainly a lot of good pick potential if those can land. And on top of that, the dive potential out of a Shen taunt and a Galio ult on top of it can certainly win them team fights, especially if they get to the later game with it. I'm interested in seeing where Evelynn is going to put the priority here, because possibly going to try and get the Shen ahead early. I think you're just going to want the Tristana to farm.
I think so too. I don't think you have to force anything in the bottom lane. Kalista Arcana uses as Morgana Trish, it's an incredibly safe lane. You just kind of have to play back a little bit and not go ham and get all end, really. So I do think the focus is going to be on the solo lanes here, coming out of this Evelynn pack.
Yeah, I actually expect the mid lane to be fairly even, I would say, for the most part. Galio, like you said, has that little bit of range that he can poke and farm with. However, Jarvan, not exactly going to have trouble. Once he gets a couple levels into that queue, I mean, he can clear waves almost equally as fast. So we'll see what happens there. I'm really interested in seeing that matchup mid. Like you said, you really don't see the Jarvan mid ever, so
Not at all. It makes the level 6 interesting because Jarvan goes in with Cataclysm and Galio can be like, alright, you're exactly where I want you to be, because all of Galio's damage, despite being, magic damage, is all up front, really.
right.
So, in terms of actual damage output, I want to say that Galio has the minor advantage, but I'm not entirely sure myself.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be a little more beefy, I would imagine, but I'm assuming Jarvan's going to go more of a bruiser build and try to get some of that damage off onto the carries, mainly the Tristana. But I guess we'll have to see how it plays out, and we certainly are going to see that pretty soon here as we're getting into the loading screen. So,
See which team has the victory in terms of mastery and whatnot.
I don't know, the mastery matters. It's all about the skins.
All about the skins and the masteries. Both of them are needed.
Taking just a second long for it to connect here, but there we go.
Client's seen better days than mine, for sure, but slowly but surely, we will be walking into the loading screen and the game shortly after. Let's see. Alright, so in terms of skins, Always Hostile have won. And
That Firefighter Tristana skin might be worth double points, though, because that one's a legendary.
That one is indeed. A lot of flares coming out on both sides. Neither mid lane are having too much to show off, really. But either way, this will be a very interesting start. And I want to say that Evelynn's going to be starting at her red buff, but at the same time, anything's possible between this Elise Evelynn matchup. It's going to dictate the lanes heavily which one I think makes the move first.
Yeah, definitely. And Eve, I would say probably I always just start with a bot side because you just get that extra person there for the leash and to help protect you, basically. But anything can happen, like you said. Eve could maybe do something cheeky and try and do an early invade if they so choose.
Indeed. A few more seconds on the clock, and we're going to be right in game here. There we go.
Another thing I want to make note of is Digital Monster grabbed Ignite, so he's definitely going to be going for kill pressure, whereas Kid of Fire went with a teleport on Galio, so a lot more global presence.
We're going to see how well he can utilize that Ignite, going for perhaps the level 6 on with the damage output, but if he's unable to get the kill, Galio can just TP back to lane, and suddenly that Ignite has been neutralized.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if he tries to maybe roam to bot lane with it at level 6.
It's also Olwen lane looking for an invade here. At least might be in a little bit of trouble. They're not going to pull the trigger just yet.
Yeah, Dracker sniffing that one out and just backing off as soon as he saw the Morgana stepping forward. They just decided to back off, it looks like.
Sejuani actually solo positioned away from her team right now. She may be able to spot Evelyn here. They're still they're thinking of it. Do we want to go blue? Do we want to go red?
Seemed to be favoring the blue for a second there, and that looks like that's going to be the case. He's going to be starting on blue side, it looks like.
All right.
I would Kaiser probably going to get a ward over this and see this start. So maybe Drakker's going to go for a red side invade if they can catch that out.
Either way, it's a plus for always hostiles. They get the information either way. If they see her, they know where she is. If they don't see her, they know she has to be starting on that red buff instead.
A smart ward there from Kaiser. Just spotting out the Eve, seeing where he's at, and I don't know. We'll see if Drakkar wants to play this aggressively. It looks like he's actually just going to go to his wolves and do his normal clear.
Indeed. Top lane matchup's going to be very interesting though as well, because we don't see Sejuani top just as much as we don't see Jarvan mid either, so I think it might just be farming back and forth, but there's a little bit of damage being traded here.
Yeah, Shen's certainly capable of trading even with that too, so...
A little bit of action in the mid lane. It's still, they're only both level 2, so not too much is going to happen just yet, but as the game progresses onwards and those little trades suddenly start doing more damage, perhaps we'll start to definitely see something out of the mid lane.
Some good trading coming out from Sejuani, but...
Ooh, nice chunk onto Live a Freeze, but...
Shen was trading
Not
back
much.
pretty even up until that too, but... Certainly lost that one. Engaging bot.
So actually lands Tanaka, but hits by the Dark Bind. That's a lot of damage on terms. Flashes away, but First Blood still going over to the Era of Terminia, and it may as well be a second
Ren.
blood as well. The Ren's not gonna matter. The
Not
heal
gonna.
through, and now action in the top lane. We're gonna see where this one goes. Kaiser is gonna be able to get out of this one, as is the rest of AOL. No kills to come through on the top path, but 2-0 in the bot lane.
Yeah, an early kill and an assist onto Tristana. That could be very devastating for the late game. We'll see how well he uses that advantage. Obviously, not going to back quite yet. It looks like he's going to try and get some of that tower damage. So they're still going to be kind of even in terms of items, but that's going to be a scary first back for a Tristana.
Absolutely sitting on a good amount of gold so far of 1700, so she has enough for that BF sword. 2 come into play here.
Yeah, and it looks like they're backing right now. We'll see if that's the route he chooses. It's a very early BF sword, a lot of damage for this point in the game, so... Oh, he forgot to buy for a second there. Maybe he's waiting for an item. Yep, there's the BF sword
There's
buy.
the BF sword. TP back into the mid lane. He's actually going to go for a little bit early damage here now with the Mana Crystal and the Doran Shield. They're also going to try and get a gank here. Patiently in the wings, but nothing happening just yet. Up here they go this time. It's going to work out. The damage comes through. Flankendrag is actually going to be able to get him out, though. It's both junglers show where they're on the mid lane, and now Animatic in trouble in the bottom lane, having to use his flash away for a little too close for comfort. Now the Justice Punch onto Darkar. Flashes are being blown left and right.
Yeah, both Digital Monster and Drakkar burning their flash there. That was really well played by Kid of Fire and Apto in the mid lane.
I'll definitely putting their foot down this one. They said, alright, you guys just 2-0 Guardian Gaming, you're not gonna 2-0 us, and they have a strong early game lead.
Yeah, there's a lot of trading coming out in the top lane as well, but we're seeing Kaiser out of mana pretty much, so I would imagine he's just gonna try and push that Waven back. He does have TP up. He might choose to use that. But we'll see if he wants to use that aggressively in the bot lane to try and make something happen when he has his ult.
Absolutely. A lot of damage coming through on a Kid of Fire. Now level 6-0 can get the kill, but we're starting to see how that matchup pans out. And in the top lane, health bar is definitely in the favor of All One Lane. That's a little bit of trouble actually. Dark Binding lands, that's going to be some more damage. Will it be the kill though? No, it's not. It's going to be able to force the heal out of Animatic. The bot lane of AOL just turning on.
And a great binding from Green Boys there to allow that damage to come through like that. We're seeing Animaniac constantly below the half health mark because of it, so probably same situation, gonna want to back here pretty soon, otherwise they risk, if he gets hit by another binding, dying.
Indeed, they just want to play safe against the turret. They know that the bot lane of AOL are going to keep pushing in, so maybe they can try and set something up in that regard. Drekar is hanging around the bottom half, but so far nothing to happen.
I do want to make note of an early 15 CS lead in the top lane for Life of Freeze on the Shen, which is really impressive. Just great farming from him. Another binding lands in bot lane there. Not much going to come out of that one.
Much at all, but a definitely strong CS lead. As in the bot lane, they're going to land the Cataclysm onto Hero of Terminia, but they're going to try and turn around as well. Can they get out of this one? Yes, they can, as the jump down comes through from Kid of Fire. No kill's going to happen, but a few summoner spells blown.
Couple global ultimates there getting blown as well. Shen ulting onto the Tristana, and Kid of Fire using his Galio ult there too. It looks like Kaiser canceled the Shen ult, but he's just going to end up going back. Nothing's really going to come out of that in the top lane. Shen's going to push that up to the tower and probably back himself.
Leaf of Freeze has a incredibly strong CS advantage, as you pointed out earlier, and forcing the Sejuani to back is almost as good as killing her when you're up 20 CS.
Yeah, and he can use that to, I would assume, maybe go back and get half of his Spirit Visage taken care of right away. That would be a really good item into the Sejuani. Possibly going to give him an even bigger advantage, but we'll see what he decides to do with it. Maybe going to opt for a Sunfire Cape for the extra wave cleared instead.
It's actually a gain coming on the top lane. Leaf of Freeze is trying to prep up the play. They're not going to be able to get any damage on the Sejuani, though. A little too forced on the side of AOL, but at the same time, Drekar is hovering around where Evelyn would be. Something might happen here.
Yeah, I think that that play in particular, maybe just a little bit. Ooh, a lot of damage.
A lot of damage in the top lane. Leaf of Freeze has to flash away.
I was going to say maybe a little too much of a telegraph play from Leaf of Freeze there, but
Both teams are in the exact same vicinity, though. They may spot something that they don't want to run into, but so far it looks like Drekar is safe counter jungling.
Yeah, taking that wolf camp from right underneath his nose too.
He's actually gonna hope
run into each other here
for the dive, but I don't think Kaiser's gonna fall for it. Because they don't even have to worry about it. There it is.
Didn't even need to.
Kill right there, making it look clean. Always hostile, on the move. Evelyn's gonna try and make something happen, but turret's no longer on the members of Always Hostile, so now he's the one taking free damage in return. A very clean play.
Drakkar accidentally shot his cocoon the wrong direction there. I almost wonder what could have happened if that would have landed, if they would have been able to maybe turn that around, but...
Actually, Digital's up in the top lane too. He's gonna find Evelyn. Tries to get away with the blast cone, but it will not matter in time. As the rest of All One Lane make it up into the top lane, they're gonna punish the Spider, who won't be going back down. It's a 1-for-1.
Very smart use of the TP from Shen there, just to be sure that he can get that taunt off on Drakkar's Elise and just basically secure the kill. Didn't want to risk
another item, by the way, I want to touch on is the Sheen coming in. And maybe a little bit too soon for that, as it's more damage onto the Rakan this time. That may be a kill. Jumps in, lands the ulti, and gets out too as well. The bot lane of All One Lane almost getting another kill as well. This is now a 2-0-1 Tristana.
Yeah, they got the kill onto It's Tits and Animaniac.
And the
Wow.
body lands on Automatic. That's a jump in. That's a jump out. That's the kill for Green Boys.
And that's looking like it's going to be the first turret for them as well. This is a very scary Tristana. They're going to have to... I don't know. They're going to have to decide how they're going to play around that on the side of Always Hostile, because I don't know how you deal with that at this point. She's very intimidating. There's a lot of damage that she can do.
Looks like 01 Lane may be thinking of getting the dragon here, as Tristana hasn't backed yet, but at the same time, maybe not. I think the play is a little overzealous, as a lot of damage is being traded back and forth in the top lane. Leave Freeze low on HP on this one. He may be in trouble here. The ulti is up for Kaiser if he decides to go for it.
Kaiser's starting to come away with a lead on most of these trades. Forcing Leaf Freeze out of lane. I also wanted to make note he's actually kind of splitting the bill on the Navami's Cinder and the Spectre's Cowl. Not sure which he's going to... Okay, he decided to go with a Kindle Gem there, so it actually looks like he's going to finish the Spirit Message first, but...
On the topic of builds, Mercury outright. We're not going to be able to talk about that at all. Maybe, maybe not, alright. A little bit of trouble, actually. Hero of Termini in the top lane almost gets enough damage to almost kill Kaiser on the top lane. Forces him back, though, which is an indirect lead for Leaf of Freeze, despite not even being there. He's forcing the Sejuani out of lane, as the rest of Always Hostile go for the dragon.
And I would say a pretty smart play from Always Hostile here, seeing that bot lane decided to rotate top and just decided to get, you know, something out of their lost lane there anyways. But this Tristana pretty much, at this point, can force down these towers at will. Half of the damage gone onto that top tower already, so...
Absolutely, and the rest of Always Hostile might be rotating up for this one to maybe protect their top lane of Sejuani. Doesn't land the bind, does land the stun, so they're not going to be able to find a kill with it, but the rest of Always Hostile are here. The Sejuani ultimate lands through the jump, and that's going to be at least a kill coming in eventually for IOL, as they can't find anything. The bomb goes off. Hero of Termini will be able to get the reset if he so chooses to use it, as it's going to be Digital Monster with a Flag and Direct combo in the top lane. Finds Hero of Termini, but goes down in return. So far, it's a 1 for 2, as the rest of Always Hostile are flashing away, trying to get out, and they will. Still 7 to 3.
Very well played by all one lane there. Hero of Termini, not enough mana to use the rocket jump to get out, and does fall because of it, but a 2-for-1 trade there was very good for them. And now they can turn, and it looks like they're going to get this Herald off of it too, so...
Uncontested. Jakar has no mana and has no idea either, so that's the early game objective happening 14 minutes in for all online. Let's see how well they can use that. Because when you get that objective, you're essentially guaranteed a turret.
Yeah, and I gotta give a lot of credit to Hero of Termina and Green Boys in the bot lane getting a nice lead without really any help from Aptos Evelyn either, so...
See, there's actually a lot of damage being traded back and forth in the mid lane between the two top lanes, but neither of them are going to go all in, knowing that their teams are right next to them.
I don't know how that binding just landed between two minions. Just Green Boy seems to be really on point. He doesn't seem like he's... I don't even know if he can miss a binding right now.
Riot Games is on his side with that one for sure. But so far him and Termini in the bot lane are making plays happen. As actually, the rest of Always also might have overstayed their welcome. That might be another kill for Hero of Termini, and it is going to be. Now it's also some more damage. Goes underneath the turret. Maybe a little overzealous as he gets taken out again. And now it's going to be Evelyn in trouble. The Spider may be able to find a few more kills for a team on this one, but with that tanky Gallia there, no more will equate from it as they get the top lane turret.
Yeah, a little bit over-aggressive from Hero of Termina. He's definitely capable of that play if it wasn't under a
Another
tower.
kill here. Rakan's in trouble, and he may be going down as well. No, brings him in with the Fate's Call. So all in all, positive plays all around for Always Hostile.
Yeah, that definitely could have been a lot worse. And like I said, Hero of Termina could have made that play happen if it wasn't a tower dive. I think just a little bit over aggressive there. Not quite able to do a tower dive, but yet.
Not quite, but
the Herald used the
Rift
top
Herald's
lane.
charging in and will take down one turret so far. Kaiser in the wings, but there are 2 men right there. We'll see if this is going to be a fight here. Doesn't look like All One Lane 1 overstay their welcome. They get the 1 turret. Alright,
Might get
utilization
more
of the
out of
Rift
it,
Herald,
maybe.
but with all that attention top lane and the Tristana in the mid lane, that may as well be another turret for them. Have to be careful and may not be able to get it in time.
Very, very good map rotation there from All One Lane. Managing to get that mid tower while everyone else is
Kaiser
distracted.
goes in a little too deep. The rest of the team's going to focus him. He will have to flash out of that as the Dark Binding lands onto Drakkar. The stun follows right after. The Galliot is coming through, and the Spider is not going to be able to even repel in time. 9-4. Flash in as well from Leafa Freeze. That might as well be another kill as the Binding lands to follow it up. All One Lane turn on the switch.
Great job combling the CC from All One Lane. A good taunt flash from Leafa Freeze.
They're
Possibly
gonna
turn
keep
around.
Here too, it's going to be Green Boys caught underneath the turret and the Cataclysm as well. A decent turnaround from Always Hostile nets them 2 more kills.
And I almost want to say that gives them just advantageous towards Always Hostile just a little bit. Of course, All One Lane maybe overstaying a little bit there, maybe not realizing the kind of damage that this Jarvan is capable of. And of course, the Sejuani CC is always a threat, even if you are behind. So just maybe a little bit over aggressive on their part, a little bit of an overstay, but they're certainly in the lead still by enough.
Good enough. 3,500 gold coming in for this side of All One Lane. Always Hostile have to keep finding picks, keep making plays, and keep trying to hope that, I guess, if Terminia keeps going for these tower dives, because that's really the only way he's been dying so far. He's getting a little too close for comfort. If that doesn't happen, though, if you're looking on the side of All One Lane, then maybe you have a 1-team fight and possibly an inhibitor right after.
Yeah, they really shouldn't lose any of these team fights as long as they protect Hero of Termina. He's really, really fed right now, an Infinity Edge and a Zeal on him.
Infernal Dragon is up right now, and regardless of your goalie or not, both teams are going to want this and deny it from each other.
I expect to see a fight right here over this dragon. It looks like All One Lane kind of backing off a little bit, knowing that everyone's there, but Chen is not.
Becomes a little difficult as well because you have the Callisto Rend. While she's not ahead, it is still a smite as Kidafire is actually going right into the pit as the rest of All One Lane are actually counter-engaging. The stun comes through as the bomb's gonna blow up. Not enough to kill Sejuani just yet. The fight's here, and so is Leafa Freeze, which is going to force the flash immediately out of Drakkar, and now Dragon Control given to All One Lane.
Yeah, we're gonna see if Drakkar wants to go ahead and try and steal this or not. It's just dropping too quick, though. Not gonna happen.
He may actually be in trouble as well now without a flash in the Galio right on top of him. Grom's not up, and nor will be the Spider, as that's going to be another kill for Hero of Termina.
Yeah, great play from Hero of Termina this game. Of course, not to discredit Green Boys. Green Boys landing some very good bindings in lane to get him that lead. But Hero of Termina just not letting his foot off the gas. Of course, maybe a little too aggressive at some points, but he's not afraid to go in. He's definitely getting a bigger lead because of it.
Not at all. So for a very powerful Tristana with Ayaj, with Zeal, Callisto on the other hand only has the Blade of the Ruin King and is sitting on only 800 gold, so she'll have to farm up and maybe find some advantage in these fights, because so far she's not getting any items anytime soon.
A little bit of credit to Kaiser here in the top lane. He's kind of kept the same. He's been behind in CS by about 15 to 20 this whole time, but it hasn't gotten any worse for what it's worth. He's winning a lot of these trades, and I think he's making up a lot of that CS disadvantage in that. But Shen also with 3 kills, so
Still has the
Still
Sheen as
lead.
well 20 minutes into this game. It's going to be going into one of those items, but a little trickiness in the top lane. Gets caught up by the binding. Green Boy's on point, but they're not going to be able to find anything with that.
a little bit of a mind game.
Bit of a mind game indeed, as both teams find themselves on a tricky spot in the jungle. Just some more damage onto Drakkar, who's gonna be able to heal them up with a smite, but approaching this, do you really like? I have to ask you, if a team gets an ace, do you think either of them can do the Baron at this stage?
It would definitely depend on health bars coming out of it, but I would think if you get an ace, it would certainly be something that could be looked at.
Leaf of Freeze might be in trouble up here, as the rest of Always Hostile are right behind him, but it's a very tanky Shen with a Spirit Visage. So not much is going to equate from that, as Hero of Terminia is going to be able to hold the mid lane with the rest of his team.
Yeah, no, they're looking like they're gonna want to push this down. All one lane, pretty smart rotation there, but it looks like Always Hostile just kind of onto that as well. Kind of knew what was coming, but maybe gonna get a blue out of it in the end, and Evelyn's gonna just smite that away.
So far the game tempo is kind of lowering a little bit. Both teams aren't going for the kills left and right. If someone gets themselves in a weird spot, then their team's right behind them. It's going to be the red buff Hero of Termina. Things are starting to reset a little bit. Vision control both teams are looking for as well, probably.
I feel slowing the game potentially favors Hero of Terminus Tristana, though. That's one of the best late game carries right now. So I don't think he's going to be all that upset about it either way. Of course.
Not at all. You're Always Hostile, though. You're looking to try and get this Shen, who's a little indecisive on where he's going to go, but there just isn't a whole lot of damage coming out on the side of Always Hostile, but there is on the side of All One Lane, as they might be able to catch the Spider again. Another kill, maybe not just yet, coming in for Hero of Terminia.
A little bit of trading going on in bot, but not much
Nothing
coming
gonna
of it.
happen. Oh no, they're actually gonna go for the Baron here with Drakkar dead. This might be gifted over from Always
Relatively
Hostile. The
risky, but the
teleport's
teleport-
coming in as well. They still have to be careful of the AoE teamfight that Always Hostile has, but I don't think they're gonna go in on this one. Maybe try and get a steal.
Oh,
Can he?
German!
Yes, he can! Are you kidding me? Digital Monster coming up huge for his team.
Great steal by Digital Monster there. Definitely keeps his team in the game, and basically, if you're all one lane, that's the last thing in the world you want to happen. There, you have the game in your hands,
Oh,
and then the Baron just gets stolen right from underneath.
gift wrapped on a silver platter, almost. Huge play for Digital Monster, and that's gonna actually put the gold up to a. Oh, here we have a pause.
Still about a 4k gold lead on the side of all one lane, but now they're going to have to fend off the Baron. I don't expect them to get a whole lot out of this because they are behind, but definitely not. All one lane was looking to close the game with that Baron, and that's not what they wanted to happen.
No, this game's not going to be closing around the 30-minute marker, especially with that Baron steal by Digital Monster. Nothing can happen just yet, but that's going to keep his team in the game, because imagine if he didn't manage to pull that Baron steal off, it would have been basically another kill and a Baron for one lane that would have propelled the gold near 10,000, possibly for all one lane.
Yeah, they would have probably looked to take both of these outer towers in, or actually all 3 outer towers. They've been putting a little bit of pressure onto that mid one, though, too, so that one's already kind of half gone, if I remember right. I can't actually look at it while it's paused, but looks like the ready's coming out from Jarvan and Morgana here, so they should be getting back into this one here shortly. But excellent play, like we said, by Digital Monster there. He dies for it, but I mean, in the end, definitely worth it.
Absolutely. Coming up
score
strong
lines.
with the Tiamat and the Cleaver, so, and even looks like he's going to be completing with a Ravenous as we boot back into the game here. As Green Boys lands another binding, chunking a little bit of Jakara's health, but a very strong Jarvan now, especially with that Baron buff. All these hostiles are now poised to try and get a middle turret.
And Jarvan won't have the Baron, but he definitely has the damage to 1v1 a lot of people on the side of all one lane. But looks like they're probably going to get this mid tower in the next wave or two.
Next wave or two, indeed. Digital Monsters now with his team in the mid lane, and with what the Jarvan just did, they have to be a little careful. Jakara, little spicy end of the turret, but he's going to be able to get away with this cover of his team.
A little aggressive, but knowing that they're probably not going to all in while they all are there, so...
He's also slowly scraping back into this game. The middle turret goes down, the bot lane turret to follow right after as well as Kaiser gets it. Gold lead starting to mean less and less. We went from a 5,000 gold lead for one lane, now it's 2,000.
Yeah, and I think that
How much
tower
they
was
can
big.
keep it up.
That tower was big for them. That'll open the mid lane up just a little bit. It'll be an even mid lane, basically, in terms of towers. And they're going to dance around this Infernal a little bit,
little
but...
careful, though, between the long-range crowd control that they do have. But if you're all in lane, you absolutely want to try and get your second Infernal of the game.
Exactly, and I think in this case, maybe you just want to try and split up and push the lanes out a little bit. I mean, you have the Baron buff on the side of Always Hostile. I don't know if you want to do the Baron dance for that long. That just kind of burns the Baron buff up.
They're not going to let Evelynn get this sneaky flank in either. They're on the Dragon right now. We're going to see where this goes. Redemption's going to fall down as well. Green Boys won't be able to enter the fight as the taunt goes through. It's secured by all one lane, but they don't want this fight at all. There's a lot of AoE damages coming in, and so far Always Hostile are coming out on top. Flash away from Shen. Cocoon will not land, so it's going to be a 2-for-0 despite being able to get the Dragon for Ulwin Lane. Was it worth it?
It's a little hard to say there. Of course, you don't want to give up the 2-for-0 because with the Baron still on Always Hostile, they're going to get a tower.
Pushing as well, so they have Hero of Terminia, Green Boys, and Leaf of Freeze up, but still 10 seconds until Evelyn's up. They're gonna back off on the push though. They're like, we have the 2 mid turrets, they're not gonna push, and the gold essentially even right now with that play.
Yeah, they've done a good job turning this back around and just bringing themselves back into it a little bit. Of course, Digital Monsters making the big play to steal the Baron that allowed that to happen. But just all around, just pretty good rotations. I feel they wasted a little more time dancing around the Dragon Pit than they maybe wanted to while they had Baron. But a good 2-for-0 to just secure them another tower out of it. Of course, later on, that Infernal might come in a little bit handy, but they gave up a tower for it, so...
Indeed, Hero of Termini with another red buff coming in here. We're gonna have to see how these fights play out, because if they manage to lock down Hero of Termini, the fight may as well be won for Always Hostile, as the gold now back up to even. But on the same token, you have to be wary, especially if you're Drakkar, who's been getting hit by these Dark Bindings of Green Boys all game, and if the Spider's out of the fight, even if you get on the Tristan, it's a 4v5, and they're looking and trying to get another kill.
I think this is a scary Tristana, but it's also a pretty scary Jarvan. He's out farming his lane opponent by about 60, so he's definitely got a lead in that lane that way. Of course, 8 assists onto Galio, but the farm game definitely going in favor of him right now, and he does a lot of damage, so he could possibly just force Hero of Termina out of any fight as long as he plays it right.
Absolutely. Justice Punch and Taunt on towards Digital Monster, but nothing will happen of it. They're gonna continue to reset. Baron up in 150. This is definitely where the next fight's gonna be if you're both teams.
Yeah, both teams are definitely going to want this Baron. Of course, if you're all
Bar's
one
in a
lane,
little bit of trouble. He's gonna have to flash out of that one. Almost got pincered from the all one lane, but manages to get out with the flash.
yeah, good flash. Not the best positioning, but a good flash out. Just maybe need to get a. They do have good ward coverage on the Baron side of the map. Actually, from both teams. I think all one lane needs to get some deeper wards on that side of the map if they're going to be pressuring a Baron. They do have a couple pinks over there, but that's about it. They might want to get something over by the Tribush just to be sure. Of course, Always Hostile has wards just scattered throughout all one lane's jungle on that side, though, so if they try to make a move, they'll see it.
Absolutely. Looks like the next fight is going to be at the Baron, and so far an advantage. I suppose even for both teams, neither jungler has their flash, and at least can get into the pit a lot easier than an Evelynn. So with that flash being blown earlier, it's still a win for all one lane, but you really don't want the Baron to go over to Always Hostile again if you're on the side of all one lane, because then you go from ahead to even to behind, and you don't want that coming into this match.
Yeah, definitely not. This Baron could basically decide the game, honestly. And
Absolutely.
of course, all one lane, like you said, this could be the throw if they lose this Baron. But of course, on the side of Always Hostile, this could be a major comeback from them if they can get it. So obviously, neither team's going to want to give this up. But
Well, so far, vision control in favor of Always Hostile, but
all
each
one lane
team's-
clearing it out, though.
they both know where they are. They know the one team's looking for a pick, the other trying to find some. Cocoon lands on a Green Boys, but with Leaf Free strong in the front, nothing's gonna happen of it. It's in the mid lane, actually, a little bit of trouble maybe for Kid of Fire, but they're not gonna go hard on the play, as Green Boys is going in. They're gonna keep trying to find it, but Digimonster gets blown up in the process. The fight's going in favor of all one lane so far as a good charm manages to lock up the rest of the members. A lot of damage could come through for this Kalista with Rend as the flash comes in from Kid of Fire, which will secure a few more kills back and forth, but Always Hostile are coming on top with this one. And it's going to be the 4-0 and the Baron.
And a good fight from all one lane there, but that's just the Tristana damage coming out. When you get a lead like that, that's scary.
That's also the backfire of the Jarvan pick. You have all this damage that can blow up a target, but you yourself can get blown up immediately. And like, essentially the moment that Cataclysm went down, Digital Monster went out.
Yeah, and he actually, his build, we haven't really made much note of it. Definitely going for the one-shot potential. He's got a Black Cleaver, a Ravenous Hydra, and a Serrated Dirk. So he's going for the damage, the lethality. He's trying to one-shot the Tristana, but it didn't happen there, and it really backfired on him in that case.
Absolutely. The pendulum swinging back and forth for all one lane as they go from ahead to even and back to ahead with another 5,000 gold lead, almost more.
Yeah, and getting the Baron out of this too, I would
They're
expect
gonna
that lead to
try
just
and
grow.
get the Infernal Dragon, which they will be able to take away. Getting one for themselves, not letting all one lane having that third Infernal and a Baron. A little too scary, but do you really think that the Infernal means a whole lot in terms of an advantage that Always Hostile will have in these fights, or is that really just to salvage the ace that just happened a few minutes ago?
I think the big part of that is not allowing all one lane to get the third one mainly. It's not necessarily going to win you the game, obviously.
A
but-
lot of damage coming on to Sejuani. So far, this is going in the favor and for positioning out of all one lane, as there is just so much damage coming out of Terminia, and they're going to try and secure a few more kills here. Drakkar and Jarvan running on low HP bars. They're going to be able to get out, or maybe not. Yes, they are going to be able to get out.
God, Green Boys is pretty on point with these. Just all game, he's not been missing many bindings. He's making these kills for Hero of Tournament just simple.
Absolutely. And now driver's seat, has gone over 201 lane completely. They get the top turret, they get the bottom turret, they're pushing onwards, and they may be able to get even more.
Fight happening in top lane,
Zen
but
as well, but he's very tanky and very mobile with the taunt and the flash. Is going to be able to occupy the members of Always Hostile long enough for his team to get the inhibitor. So it's a win-win. As all one lane now look for mid turret.
yeah, good job by Leaf Freeze up there, just kind of drawing the pressure to him from 2 people and just allowing the rest of his team to basically do the work in bot lane.
Absolutely.
Denying the jungle on the way out here, and it looks like they're probably going to just back off of this, take the advantage they have, and then get their items and push forward for possibly the win.
They're actually going to try and get a pick, which is exactly what they need on a Kid of Fire here. It is 5 men strong on towards him. You're not going to get out. Digital Monster picking up the kill.
Good
and a
pick.
50-second death timer as well.
Very good pick from them there. I don't know that they're going to be able to do much with it, though, because of the fact that all one lane does still have the Baron on the rest of their members. So they're going to get
slow
that.
down the
but
push, though, because without that galley, without that protection and option to split push, I suppose, it is going to stop the push. I mean, they're still going to try and push, but it won't be as effective, obviously. So that was exactly what Always Hostile needed to claw back into this game with an 8,000 gold lead on the side of all one lane.
a little bit of fighting happening, Jarvan.
Jarvan actually going all in this one. He may be able to find the kill on Evelynn. Stand United coming through, but the damage of Always Hostile just rips through it, and that's another pick as Kid of Fire respawns.
That's exactly what they need to do, is just get these picks when they're behind like this, but you're going to have Shen pushing in the top lane. Someone's going to have to answer that soon, and it looks like Kaiser's going to back to do that.
It's going to halt the push, and if not completely stop it, out of Always Hostile.
And as soon as I say it, Leaf of Freeze just goes back, knowing that someone's going to match that, and just goes back, buys some items, and
Absolutely. Almost to the credit, or credit discredit, I want to say, for the mistakes of getting picked out from the side of all one lane is your top laner and jungler got caught out. That's good for Always Hostile. They need picks in this, but if they want to really make something happen, they need to find a pick, find the kill, burst out Hero of Terminia, because if they can't do that, they're not going to be able to win the game. And now a fight's breaking out. A lot of damage as well. Jarvan's taken very low from this one, but the area of effect damage, burst, crowd control may just be in the favor of Always Hostile now. As the first victim of the fight's Digital Monster, and it's not going to matter as all one lane turn it around. A double kill, a triple kill, it may well be a quadra kill as Animata gets blasted back, turned on, won the game, and that just might be it right there.
looks like that might be a push for the win here from all one lane. Very good
only
play.
want to defend low health bars on the side of all one lane, so nothing's impossible just yet, but with that Kalista zoned off, it looks like it's going to be the victory. All one lane push on forward, and they're going to get the Nexus on this push.
Very, very well played by all one lane. Coming out ahead to Tristana absolutely popping off. Green Boys maybe missed one binding that I saw that
Missed
game.
one or two. Very strong performance, carrying their team out of the bot lane of all one lane.
Yeah, that was just bot lane in general did really, really well. And Kid of Fire also did quite well on the galley. Got caught out a couple of times, but I mean, you see just 16 assists. He was there for a lot of the kills on their team. So
Well, more than enough.
yeah, good rotation from him. Good ults for the most part. A couple of them maybe a little bit overeager or a little maybe overprotective when Always Hostile was maybe backing off or something. But for the most part, really, really well played pretty much across the board, honestly, from all one lane.
The Evelynn pick, it didn't shock us. It didn't do what we thought it would do because there was so much focus on the bottom lane, but it did work out more than the Elise pick for Always Hostile. And if you just look at the scoreboard, there's a really good picture that we're getting here. 23-11-64 for Owen Lane, 11-23-27 for the side of Always Hostile. There are just more assists, more team plays being made on the side of Owen Lane.
Yeah, and that definitely makes a difference. Yeah, that's 64 assists to 27 assists in and of itself. You can see just great team play all around. Certainly, bot lane getting ahead early doesn't hurt at all.
Absolutely. Who are you gonna
scary?
want to give the MVP to? I think both of us would come to a consensus that it's between Terminia and Green Boys, but which one are we gonna pick here? Strong performance out of the Tristan, but also an incredibly high ratio of mining set from Green Boys.
I think it's hard to not give it to Green Boys here. You can obviously argue that Hero of Termina is Tristana. Very well played and very well deserving of it in most cases, but Green Boys really did a good job of getting him ahead. I feel like you got to give it to Green Boys. Without those bindings, it might not have ended that way. He certainly got him ahead by an unsurmountable lead.
Gonna second that as well. 5-1-16 on this Morgana. Without the Zhonya's Hourglass as well, which isn't something we see often, but made use of it, went full-on support for his team, and it really showed in the game. So we're going to be giving the MVP to Green Boys for this one.
I agree completely. Very, very good team play from Green Boys there too. Like you said, going full support, not going the greedy builds, and just showing that it paid off there with the bindings landed, and just he didn't need the AP. If you can land the binding, Tristana can do the rest of the work.
Absolutely. Going into game 2, though, do you think we're actually going to see that Tristana being banned? Or do you think this is like just like a pick that Terminia had on the side that happened to pop off?
That's hard to say. I almost wonder if they ban the Morgana and just leave the Tristana up, because that Morgana certainly got the Tristana rolling early. And I don't know if another support, maybe Thresh, could have done something similar, but I don't know that it would have happened quite that way if it weren't for the Morgana there. So I would say maybe we'd see a Morgana ban before the Tristana, but it's hard to say.
We will see. All of One Wing will be taking the red side this time, while Always Hostile will be taking the blue side. It's been debated multiple times before, but do you think that there's a blue versus red side advantage coming in here for Always Hostile this time around, or do you think it really doesn't matter which side, who's on who?
It's hard to say. It's in the eye of the beholder, honestly. I certainly having the first pick on the blue side is sort of an advantage, but you also get the counter pick off of the red side with the last pick, so it's a little bit of a give and take there. Certainly the power picks like Zac could be coming out early on the side of Always Hostile here if that isn't banned. Or they might.
We're absolutely going to be seeing it banned. With
We
just
might see the Renekton,
engage, with the engage that Owen Light had without the Zac in game 1, I absolutely think we're not going to see it at all in the entire series if we manage to go to a game 3. There's just so much presence that that champion's able to dish out. But I do agree with you in maybe us seeing a Morgana or a Tristana ban, because the bans in the first game as well were very player specific. We saw a Caitlyn ban, we saw a Blitzcrank, a Yi ban even. We'll see if any more of those weird bans are perhaps more shifted towards what they just played against.
I can't say I'd be shocked if we saw Morgana and Tristana banned, but I really think it was the Morgana that did a lot of the early game work in that lane, and Tristana just rode the back of it, and the late game damage, obviously, that Tristana can do, never falling off in that game when you're ahead like that, so I almost expect to see the Morgana more so, but I can't be sure yet.
If you're on the side of Owen Lane, though, you just came off of a win. If you manage to win this game, you win the series 2-0, and with your current slot in the standings, what is it, 1-5, you need to pick up a win, especially at 2-0, would help you out greatly.
Yeah, that could push them into a playoff spot.
Absolutely, but what do you think the bans are coming off of a strong win like this? They didn't they don't need to ban Kalista at all. They don't need to ban Rakan because the Rakan pick really didn't work out to their benefit. What are you really considering?
I don't think they change up too much from the last ban phase. They maybe throw the Zac ban in there just so that, obviously, so that they can't have that on the side of Always Hostile. But I don't think they change too much. I think they maybe keep the Renekton ban so Kaiser can't have a comfort pick like that. Other than that, I mean, I would just keep it pretty similar, to be completely honest. Seemed like it worked for them there and could work for them again. It might not get that Tristana that can pop off, though, because we're going to see if they let that even through to begin with. If you are okay with just, I'm going to AFK for just 1 minute here, and I can be right back, if that's all right with you.
All right,
we'll be back in 1 second.
All right. So for a very convincing series out of both teams, I would say, you had all one lane, managed to pick up the first game, but it wasn't an absolute stomp. It wasn't a absolute dismantling of Always Hostile. They still fought back, and they didn't get a run over. So I think walking into this next game, we're definitely going to see something similar, if not maybe a stomp on the side of Always Hostile. And eventually in a minute, 2, or even 3, we will be given the champion select for game 2 here, and seeing what both teams decide to pick. I believe my partner, Fridge, will be back with us any moment now. As I wonder if we're going to see an Evelynn pick as well coming out of the side of on the side of O1 lane again. It's a very strong pick in the first game. It wasn't as fascinating as, say, the Elise, but it still provided the, I guess, vision denial that O1 lane needed to win the first game.
All
at the same
right, I
time.
apologize for that. Thank you for holding down forward for me while I was gone.
Oh, dang. I was just about to advertise real
Holding
quick.
All right.
Go ahead and advertise.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to jump in real quick to give a small advertisement for what's going on for next Friday. I did it earlier with my stream. I'm going to do it here, too, just because. So, the Gathering of Warriors event did not happen on Friday, as some people remembered, but the next coming Friday, there will be a Gathering of Warriors event, which means if you are interested in playing some of this Gathering of Warriors event, it will happen at 6 p.m. on Friday. It will be pretty interesting, and if you are brand new or a free agent, you get first dibs to automatically be in this event. You don't even have to do any type of sign-up thing or anything like that other than joining the Duo Esports community to begin with. If you do want to play, it is as simple as I want to play and join in to the general lobby so we can get you added and we can get you into the Gathering of Warriors event. If you do 100% want to continue to play, you may do so as well. Understand that we will have exactly 10 players available, so we'll be rotating between players individually. So, once again, on Friday, the next one coming up, it'll be 6 p.m. Show up because I'll be challenging Fred Fredersen to a duel of the ages for the Gathering of Warriors. It'll be me versus him in a comp battle where he and I will be selecting our comp for the individual players that are in the game. Keep your guys excited for next Friday, 6 p.m. This is Army. Seeing you later.
All right. And if you don't like it either, you get your money back. That line you forgot. But all in all, we're going to be jumping into the game of Always Hostile versus O1 lane any moment now.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see this next game. Certainly a little bit surprised after Always Hostile's great games earlier that All One Lane managed to pick up a win on them. Interested to see if they can manage to pull it out with a 2-0 or if it might go to a game 3.
Absolutely. Finally boot into Champion Select here. Let's see. A lot of bans we had on the table originally to begin with, but now we have even more from game 1. The Tristana, the Morgana, the Zac. We might see all 3 being banned as the first ban comes through from Always Hostile. It's a brand ban.
Yeah, Brand, a little bit interesting here. Probably just a target ban. Renekton obviously getting banned again. They don't want Kaiser to have that at all. No comfort picks for you, Kaiser. Sorry.
You too will be judged.
Morgana getting dropped here. They don't want to go against that again.
They do
And we'll
not
see,
want to see Green Boys on that pick.
see if he picks the Tristana again.
Well, no, I'm just mad.
There's the Zac ban
Back.
from All One Lane. They're not going to want to see it, and they're not going to want to have it either. As Always Hostile are on the blue side, so they can pick first. We'll see if a Tristana ban comes through before the pick phase comes into effect. They're not gonna.
Not letting them get Galio. Not letting that happen after last game. Just
Right.
a little too much global pressure there.
Caitlyn banned away from Animatic. They're gonna whittle down the ED carry pool little by little.
Let's see what. Okay, looks like Thresh is going to be the priority pick here.
I like it. I like it. It's a strong pick, very good as well. Can be very bad equally, but you know, with in the hands of its tits, a solid pick that doesn't reveal much, but it's counteracted right off the bat by Leaf of Freeze on this Shen again.
Yeah, and he played a good game on the Shen last game, so definitely not surprised to see them put priority on that. And they're going to pick up the Blitzcrank as well. A lot of pick potential with that. We'll see if they maybe go for the Tristana with a Blitz instead of the Morgana like
Actually,
last
they're
game.
taking a big risk here. They're going to go with the Ashe pick instead against the Blitzcrank. So they're looking for a lot of engage, but they're running a pretty big risk.
Certainly risky, but if its tits can play the Thresh correctly, he can throw out a Lantern to save the Ashe if Animaniac gets pulled. So
And All One Lane are actually hovering a LeBlanc pickup here to counter the Malzahar. I'm not sure how much we'll see this through, but the longer it gets hovered on, the more likely it is.
and
It is not
Annie.
going to be. All right, there we go. And Annie instead. I didn't think we'd see LeBlanc. You don't need to fast secure that pick with the ban phase 2 coming up around because you know that Always Hostile are not going to be running that since they've
I
already
ex-
picked the Malzahar.
I expect them to drop the Tristana out now that they haven't picked an AD carry. They probably won't want to go that or against that again. We'll
Possibly.
see, but they have their AD carry locked in.
There,
Tristana does
there's
get
the
dropped.
Tristana ban.
I'm almost expecting another AD carry ban. Just really pinch his pool a little bit, maybe.
Indeed. Maybe they might go with the Callista ban, but that would really just be there to limit the champion pool. You would have Caitlyn, you'd have Tristana, you'd have Callista and Ashe off the table, really forcing his hand to something that he may not want.
I doubt we're gonna see an Evelynn ban. I don't feel like it was impactful enough
I don't think
for
it
the ban,
was.
but
I mean, it was good. but it
certainly
wasn't
played it well.
Raven
But
out.
Draven
Yeah,
getting
but they're
banned. Maybe target ban there a little bit.
less specific. I mean, I want to say less specific ban coming out of Always Hostile, but you know, maybe they've seen Termini on some Draven before. Probably have, so still an ED carry focus ban, and we're gonna see what he picks here.
Definitely. I'm wondering, Varus has been a little bit popular when Caitlyn's banned. So is Lucian, as I
So
was
is
about to
Lucian.
say that, but
Most popular ED carry, I believe, so they're gonna go with that. Strong damage, good mobility with the Blitzcrank, so if they can find the picks, they probably get them.
this is going to come down to Green Boys landing these hooks. And if it's anything like his bindings last game with Morgana, that could just be a devastating lane yet again.
Absolutely can be. We're going to see how Always also round out their composition here. They're going to go for an Olaf pick, and
Locked in Olaf.
who else are they going to have to support that? So far, they have a lot of engage and a lot of, I guess, I want to say run you over. So something with a speed boost maybe would absolutely help that. We'll see what they pick in, possibly the jungle here, or the top lane. It's going to be a Scion.
Hard engage with the Scion. Now that could be jungle, but I would expect that it's going to be top lane.
Might be the
You really
second one.
don't see
Oh.
Scion in the jungle all that much anymore. I don't feel like it's that great, but if they feel like I'm wrong, maybe they'll prove me wrong.
Looks like they're actually going to go with the Evelynn again here, deciding to take advantage of Always Hostile's paranoia almost of not being able to know where that Evelynn is 24/7. So it is going to work out for them so far. Looking into this game, who has the compositional advantage here? You have a little bit of tank on the side of One Lane, but you have a little bit more tank on the side of Always Hostile.
That's actually fairly close. You have the Annie that can pretty much burst out the target of her choice. Of course, Malzahar's Spell Shield, able to block that, or I should say just shield in general. It blocks auto attacks too, so but could potentially block a Tibbers ultimate on him. So I would say if Ashe gets ahead, Annie can burst out Ashe, but Malzahar completely capable of doing the same to essentially 3 players on the side of all One Lane. Then again, you do have, if Dream Boys is on point with these blitz hooks, between that and Annie, you're going to eliminate a target real quick. So I would give a small advantage maybe in terms of champions to all One Lane, but definitely a close, I feel like a close picks and ban phase. And Scion, of course, just going to be stacking the health and getting tanky.
From the looks of it as well, Digital Monster is going to be taking the Ignite on Malzahar against the Annie. Who really wins that matchup here?
Definitely he's going to be going for the kill pressure again. As I said, Annie's going to want to burn that shield off of Malzahar with a different ability, one that doesn't stun him, and then stun him after that. Because Annie could easily win a trade that way. But Malzahar, as I mentioned, completely capable of turning around and ulting someone down to pretty much no health in an instant. So that lane could really go either way.
Could go either way. I think we're going to see the focus directed from the junglers in the bot half, though, because if you have the Lucian Blitzcrank, you're going to be looking to find picks, and you're up against an Ashe Thrash, which is perfect. So if you're able to set up a gank with the Evelynn, perhaps a flank from Tribush or something, and shut down the bottom lane again, make the Ashe and the Thrash as useless as possible, get the Lucian ahead, is that the game plan walking in here for all One Lane, or do they might have their focus directed somewhere else?
I feel that could be the game plan for either team here. You have someone with a hook playing in support on both sides. You could Lantern in the Olaf just as easily as Evelynn just walking into lane and landing a blitz hook. So definitely I would expect the junglers to put a little bit of pressure on the bot lane from both sides. It again could go really either way with this. Just depends on this blitz hook and the thresh hook. If they can land them, then that could easily pretty much win bot lane for that team. Now blitz going ignite, it looks like. Thresh opting to go a little bit more defensive with an exhaust. Probably because of Annie, I would expect, not wanting Animaniac to get one shot.
Indeed.
So
Summoner Spill is looking same for players both times as well. Kitify with the teleport again on the mid laner. It's not as mobile as a Galio, but he's looking to have priority, get back to lane pick quicker, or maybe make a play for his team. So for Digital Monster, just sticking with that Ignite, looking to try and get kills.
I would expect Kitifire to try and make a play with that teleport after level 6. If he can maybe get a good teleport into bot lane, they could one-shot the Ashe and either take the tower or go for a dragon. It really depends at that point what's up still, but they could really take a big lead in this game if they play that right.
Absolutely. As we finally jump into the loading screen here. Eventually, slowly, the client's lagging a little bit, or so I'd imagine.
It appears to be doing the same thing for me as well, so...
On towards the top lane, actually, though, it's a much more, I feel, uneven matchup. I felt like the Sejuani pick wasn't the ideal tank that they were looking for in game one. Yes, it had a good engage, but at the same time in laning phase, we saw that Shen consistently had a health advantage over Sejuani in the laning phase. This time on the Sion, I think it's going to be a much more noodle fest top lane, so to speak.
It certainly will be after first items are bought. I would expect. The thing is, when Sion is charging up his Q, Shen, the Decimating Smash, Shen can just taunt through and stop it, or at least get out of it at the very least, and then win a trade with that. I feel like Sion, in terms of trading, relies on landing that.
Indeed.
In order to get a good combo off. So we'll see how that gets played out. But certainly Sion has the capability to become too tanky to kill.
Both teams on the edge of their fountains. We're going into game 2, ladies and gentlemen, as All One Lane take on Always Hostile. If All One Lane managed to win this game, they'll be 2-0 in the series, picking up their second win. As Always Hostile looks like they are prepping a invade from the looks of it, but both teams may want to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, it looks like All One Lane is doing the exact same thing through the bottom side of the river down there.
They're not going to see each other, but this can get a little spooky. If All One Lane drop down the vision and they come back to where Always Hostile are, we might have a little bit of level 1 action on our hands, as it's just waiting and waiting patiently.
When they don't see anyone here, I think they're going to know something's up. They're going to probably anticipate that Always Hostile is probably invading their blue as well.
Oh boy, here we go. They don't know that, they don't see it just yet. Malefic Visions on towards Shen as they're going to land the death sentence as well. First blood over to Olaf, and then May will be even more as well as Kid of Fire takes down Jakar. Level 1 action left and right. Annie's the one taking the damage. Evelyn gets knocked up. Ignite as well. That's a second kill. Holy moly, it may not be over yet as they're now back in the bush. Oh boy, Annie on low health. Kid of Fire may be in trouble with the death sentence. A straight line. Its tits may as well see it. This is going to mess over lane phase so much for them. Blitzcranks is going to play Sacrificial Lamb here. They're going to eventually get him. As the volley lands, executes, not gonna work out, and that's another kill for Digital Monster. 3 for 1 in favor of Always Hostile.
Definitely a good start for Always Hostile, and they killed off the Evelyn as well, which is gonna put him a little behind in the jungle.
Good. Almost 1,000 gold lead, 2 minutes in. Pretty big, and Olaf's not gonna need that leash either with the passive that he has. So we're gonna see a definite favor for Always Hostile in these lanes here.
And actually, Evelyn getting low in the jungle here. He's going to have his smite to keep himself a little bit more healthy here, but he's maybe going to be backing a little early than he wants to because he didn't really get the leash that he wanted to off of that start.
I don't know. Still, the advantage starting to show as they hit level 2 first for some of the laners on Always Hostile, but
Free's doing a good job of trading in the top lane, taking advantage of his level advantage, basically.
actually level 3-1 advantage for Leaf Freeze here, so
As long as Kaiser plays this safe, he'll catch up under his tower without much issue, but definitely not good that he's given up a 2-level advantage this early on.
Health advantage definitely in the favor of.
Great
Wait a
knockup.
second, maybe a little too fancy as Kaiser picks up the kill and Leaf Freeze steps way too close to the turret. That's giving the Sign exactly what he needs and more to get back from that level deficit.
And just giving that level advantage right back to Kaiser. Kaiser's going to be able to farm these next couple waves freely.
And another pause coming through. Kid of Fire.
Looks like some lag in the mid lane the way it sounds, so... maybe looks like that was what from the blue side. It looks like so. Digital Monster lagging. It sounds like probably just gonna log out and log back on. See if
Indeed.
that helps. A little over aggressive from Leaf of Freeze in the top lane, knowing he had that 2-level advantage. Certainly a good job out trading him, but just
Now in
getting
0-2
too
Shen.
close, too
So,
close to the tower and
Little
getting
too
knocked
close
up.
for comfort. We're gonna see what these guys are gonna be able to buy. 2 kills for Digital Monster. Now a kill as well for Kaiser. These guys are gonna be able to back and get a lot of strong items, maybe perhaps an amplifying tome for extra damage out of Digital Monster, and maybe we might see something like Ruby Crystal coming out for Kaiser.
Yeah, I love watching these early game invades and trades and stuff like that. Just seeing this early pressure, the early kills. It's just exciting stuff. It's
Absolutely. You thought the invade would go in the favor of Owen Lane with them having the Blitzcrank, and they being able to pick somebody off, but it turned out the other way around because Blitzhook it covers distance. It goes from point A to point B and makes point B go to point A. If you're already next to each other in melee range, it may as well be a little bit of magic damage, really.
yeah,
Sure,
that's
with the
essentially what it
Thresh Hook,
is.
a lot more valuable because it has value regardless. It's a stun, close range, or from a distance. So we saw in the invade there as well that it definitely went in the favor of Always Hostile there. Now with a 4-1 advantage and a strong 1,000 gold lead 3 minutes in.
That's a massive lead for this point in the game, but really, if you spread that out across the team, that's really only 200 gold a person. So, granted, 2 of those kills are onto Malzahar here, so he'll be backing with a little bit of extra change in his pocket. But
Already sitting on 1,000 gold for himself. Perhaps we'll not farm any more. So no needless coming in, but it's going to be the Lost Chapter instead.
looking like he's going to be going for the Morello Namicon early on. Not overly shocking, but with Malzahar's passive, doesn't he? He gains mana back, does he not? When he...
I think something along those lines, but Lost Chapter can also go into several other items, as Dwarfinish Codex is actually more limited. So we'll see what he ends up going through as the game progresses on.
I would expect that Digital Monster is just going to be pushing these waves pretty hard with the Malzahar. That's pretty much just a Malzahar thing there.
Absolutely. Looks like a little bit of action might happen in the top lane.
Kaiser wanted to clear that pink. He's going to want to be a little careful here. He's going to get collapsed.
They're gonna get collapsed on him. Leaf of Freeze lands the taunt. As Evelyn comes up, that's a lot of damage on a Kaiser. Can they get the kill? No, they can't, but they get the flash. All in all, it's a win for all one lane.
A win for all one lane, but Kaiser does have his TP if he chooses to use it. I don't think I would here. You push that wave up, and you're really not going to gain much out of teleporting here. Outside of you're just going to push the wave and put yourself at threat of another gang from Eve. And now that your flash is down, you really don't want that. Definitely smart of him by a pink ward. I would expect that he's probably going to put that in river and be able to see the Eve coming up next time.
Indeed. Let's see what happens. Not too much action happening in the bot lane as the hook goes wide. Still 5-6 minutes in.
15 farm for Annie.
Trying to get a kill onto Annie here, but it's a little too much. They're not actually. They're going
Ooh.
really hard on this one under the turret, and Digital Monster's gonna be able to get out as well. If I was Kitafire, I would not be expecting that.
That was unexpected. Yeah, definitely. Really, really good job by Digital Monster there. Using the was it the Void Swarm and his Ignite.
Understanding his damage limit, as there's some action in the top lane. Not much is gonna come from that, other than a health advantage, but definitely a power play from Always Hostile, knowing their damage output, knowing what they can do, and completely throwing the Annie off guard.
Yeah, and now Kaiser's getting a pretty big advantage in these trades in top lane too. He's got his ultimate, He's got the knock up.
Indeed. Oh, that actually might be a kill. It's level 6 with Unstoppable Charge and gets another kill on Talifa Freeze. Holy.
Now Leafa
Now we
with the 10 farm
0-3
advantage.
Shen.
10 farm advantage, but it's not going to be enough to make up for the 2 kills and an
it's
assist.
not. And now Olaf might be in trouble. Jakar gets knocked up, spiked down, hit down. Hero of Termania picks up the kill.
Looks like Hero of Termina kind of leaving off.
Infernal as well. They're all here. Health bars are high. For the side of all one lane, they're gonna go for it as well. And with nobody around from Always Hostile, they may be able to get it as well.
It looks like it's going to be relatively uncontested. They know that it's happening now.
Actually, there's a Tibbers on towards Digital Monster. That might be a kill. Malzar is not getting anywhere near the pit. Flash forward as Kidafire picks up the kill, living up to his name.
Yeah, Kid of Fire taking advantage of the fact that Flash was burned. Hook landed though.
Oh, what's going on? It's Tits goes in on this one. He may have not wanted to go for that. It's another kill for Kidafire. Spoon feeding the likes of all one lane as they pick up a few more kills.
A little bit over aggressive there. It looked like maybe it's Tits and Animaniac not on the same page.
Questionable
thinking-
decisions from both teams so far for some of the kills in this match.
But I will say a good job by Kid of Fire, knowing that he had the flash and Digital Monster had just used it, picking up basically a return kill for what happened earlier, getting a little bit of payback on it. So
Absolutely. Now with that Infernal, 8 minutes in, you could have better dragons, really, in the early game for that Infernal, but it's still an extra damage increase, and we're going to see it come into play in these trades that happen back and forth in the lanes.
And
In terms
extra
of
damage. Extra
Mhm.
damage on Annie can be very terrifying too. She's already bursty. So
already has the Needless over the Malzahar, so in terms of raw AP, definitely a damage advantage coming in that regard.
top lane's going in the advantage of Kaiser, but the farm has been staying relatively
If
even.
we look at the
so-
total gold, it's 400 more for Kaiser, but they're going to try and propel that even more in the top lane with the gank, but it's a little too forced on the side of Always Hostile. They're not able to get the kill just yet, and Evelyn's up here as well.
He does make Leaf of Freeze burn the taunt, so he's not going to be able to go aggressive with that for a little bit here.
A potential
Evelyn up.
dive might be coming in here, but they don't know where Evelyn is. Ragnarok pop, but with that shield around him, he may be able to get out of this one. This is a tricky turret dive that's not working out in either team's favor. No kills, but a lot of damage. An action in the mid lane. Malefic Visions on towards the enemy. The Tibbers is there as well. So the damage is kind of neutralized, but no kill on either side.
Certainly a little bit of a damage advantage for Digital Monster there, but I would say relatively even in the mid lane on that trade. Annie, of course, has full mana still, but
Evelyn's still in the top lane. Maybe to pop her head out for something. But so far... Oh, the hook lands! Finally onto Animatic. And they're going to be able to not pick up the kill as the lantern comes through from its tits.
good Lantern, but just a little bit behind him, actually forcing
they're going
Animaniac to walk
Visible
backwards.
Stand United play. It's going to force the flash out of Jakar immediately. Very well played on the side of all one lane as they sneak a flash out of Always Hostile.
A lot of attention up in the top lane from both Olaf and Evelyn.
Perhaps more than we expected. They're gonna go for this one again. That's a very low HP Olaf without a flash. Another kill for all one lane.
And as I mentioned before, I feel like just some lack of communication just in general coming out, and before I was saying with Animaniac and its tits, but here between Dracker and Kaiser, just maybe not on the same page there. That can certainly cost them if they don't start communicating that stuff a little bit more.
Possibly. Health advantage for Digital Monster in the mid lane. Evelyn's also hovering around the area, as Green Boys is in the mid lane as well, so they have the sense to back off. And even then he has the shield, but now it's gone, and now he's actually in a lot of trouble. The flash comes through, the hook does go wide though. We'll see if the death sentence follows. It will, but
Good
only with a
arrow.
flash. The Ash Arrow comes through. This Malzahar ult, and the Decimate's stun out of sign will get Always Hostile another kill.
And no Shen ult there because of the play they made in the top lane. Obviously, burning the flash was probably worth it, but nothing
And
to
it's
come through and
also
save
going to be
Green
the
Boys.
first turret of the game. 2 Always Hostile, picking it back up after a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah, it's definitely been a pretty even game. Sion ulting top. Nothing really gonna come of it.
Not much. He gets to lane quicker. There was so much jungle focus in the top lane. Neither of us really expected there to be that much, but I think things are going to tune down a little bit.
I would
Ever
expect
since
that. I would expect
Especially
that.
with the sign ulti down, nothing's happening for a while up here.
Yeah.
CS numbers close for both sides, just about even as well. Slight CS advantage for Leaf of Freeze up in the top lane, but they're just focusing him. Ragnarok, as Drakkar just walks into the lane and may not kill him, but he's zoning him away from the CS. As Green Boys roams up to the mid lane, the hook doesn't land, but Tibbers does, and is a dead digital monster.
A lot of damage that Kid of Fire can put out right now. 4-1 on the Annie. That's just scary. But we do have a 4-2 on Digital Monsters Malzahar. He's not really behind. Just the burst damage is a lot more out of Annie, and Blitz roaming quite a bit to
What
try
you're
and help him
looking at
out.
here in the mid lane is basically the burst from Annie. Actually, we'll get to that later, as it's going to be automatic jumped on. Teleport's going to come through as well. They may want to cancel that as Hero of Terminia picks up his second kill of the game.
Smart idea, canceling that teleport from Kaiser. Just coming in and dying won't do them any good. So,
Boys is going to look for the hook here as well.
Uh-oh.
May not be able to find the Power Fist automatically.
Ooh.
Goes for the hook, doesn't land it. Close though, as its Tits is able to flash out.
Very close on that good flash by its tits, but they're looking to pick up another Infernal Drake off of the back of that play.
They can get this dude definitely be in a power position. 14 minutes, a double Infernal would be exactly what One Lane wants. They may as well get it too, but Drakkar is here. We're going to see what he's able to do. Low health bars as well on the side of One Lane. It's actually going to be Evelyn that picks up the Dragon. As a lot of damage back and forth from both sides. Ash Arrow comes in for overkill. Hero of Terminia trying to make the plays happen. Stand United at the last second keeps them alive a few minutes longer, or a few seconds longer, as it's a 2-for-4 absolute wipeout for Always Hostile.
Good job getting some kills back from Always Hostile. Giving up that second Infernal Drake, definitely not what they wanted to happen. But they did a good job of making the best of a bad situation there. And Drakkar's just going to counter jungle that blue buff for himself there too, so...
We kind of saw what I was going to talk about in that last fight as well. In the mid lane, you have the Malzahar Kraken control lockdown, but for the Annie, you have just the raw burst, the raw damage to come through. And we saw that happen, shutting down Hero of Terminia before he could pick up any more kills.
Right. That was well played, pretty much across the board. The only thing that could have actually gone better is like a hero smite steal on the dragon, but I would say pretty well played across the board from the side of Always Hostile.
Still a pretty close in goal, it's 2,000 difference, so it could go either way, but it's still in the favor of One Lane, getting that second Infernal despite losing the fight. And if a third one pops up, then it's going to be doomsday for Always Hostile here, as they're playing very well in these team fights when they're able to come out ahead. But if a magic third Fire Dragon spawns on the side for One Lane, you're going to have to really play the fights meticulously if you want to win them.
Like as you said, full-on team fights seem to be going in the favor of Always Hostile. But solo play, I mean, you got a pretty fed Annie, you have a pretty fed Lucian. Just solo lane-wise, pretty good play from all One Lane, and of course the objective control getting 2 Drakes already, pretty good from them.
Indeed, they're gonna try and get a killing a Kaiser in the top lane. He's not aware that the Evelyn's here, but there's some
Ooh.
tempt and CS taunt misses. He still
That
doesn't
taunt
know
lands.
Evelyn's there, but so close for Olin lane, a little too forced.
Evelyn just backing off, knowing, we don't have to let him know where I'm at. We missed the taunt, no big deal. Not the end of the world.
May count jungle for a blue buff here, but if she does decide to do that, then it might be a little fight in the jungle. But it looks like
Lot coming top.
they're focusing top lane. They don't have vision of him though, because Leap of Freeze isn't pushing the lane in too much, so that is a potential denied kill. A recall goes through, but they're gonna go for Rift Herald instead.
It looks like Rift Herald is going to go over, but Olaf here maybe going to try and steal it.
He might just zone him off, but not really. 4 men strong on that side. He's actually going to pop the Ragnarok and try and go for this. Rift Herald's going to stay alive for the duration of the fight as Annie gets locked in. Tibbers comes through and rips through the members of Olwen lane though. It's going back and forth so far. And it looks like it's going to be Always Hostile coming out ahead on this fight. It's going to be another kill. The Hero of Terminia trying to answer back. They will be able to get the Olaf just in time. As this sign ulti comes through, Evelyn's in trouble. She's
Slow.
going to be
They
going
can't see
on
her.
slow lands, but they cannot see her at all. The middle turret goes down.
Oh!
Oh, good lord! Manages to get the kill with the E. And there's going to be a 4 for 2, this time in the favor of Always Hostile.
Great snipe by Kaiser on that. No clue where she is and just throws out the random E to pick it up.
That's the snipe. Rift Herald doesn't go down. It might, with teams slowly respawning. It hard despawns around 1930, I believe, as the Lantern goes through. Saves.
1955 should be forced respawn, or despawn, I'm sorry. As long as it's started by 1945, it'll wait till 1955, but we might see this fight happen again, obviously with that coming down pretty soon here, so...
If either team's able to get it, they have a strong advantage, but it looks like it's going to be Always Hostile in the stronger position to try and get it this time as they start clearing out some vision.
Very close game this game so far, so...
Not even 1,000 gold apart, separating these two teams. Green Boys is going to look for a hook, and does land it on automatic. That's a kill. Hero of Terminia picking up his 6th kill of the game.
Good taunt in top to stop the knock-up.
Oh boy. The card slowly falling apart for Always Hostile as Green Boys is continuing to make plays in both games so far. Hero of Terminia not really too far, too close. Has to puck the Ragnarok. The Lantern's going to be there as well to save him. And
It's a
once
little bit of
again,
risky fight.
focus on this top lane. They could go for a dive here if they want to. Leaf of Freeze is pushing in the minion wave, but they're not going to go for it. They have their focus towards that dragon that's coming up soon.
Yeah, and Baron up now, so nothing for the Rift Herald in this game. Good hook
Oh,
again.
the hook lands. Ragnarok's down. Cannot click the Lantern. Mountain up as well.
Should be a
Things are
free
just
dragon.
Collapsing for Always Hostile.
All one lane looking really solid through these games. Good taunt in top lane.
They do pick up the mountain. A little bit of back and forth in the top lane. It's in the favor of Leaf of Freeze though. Won't be able to go for the turret dive, but the rest of all one lane are heading up here. If there's a huge fight here, then Hero of Terminia will be not in it, but nor will Drakkar.
Yeah, we do have Kid of Fire there. If he can land a good stun.
Kaiser might... No, Kaiser's able
Ooh,
to...
an Ash Arrow.
They land the Ash Arrow. Can they find the follow-up damage, though? No, they can, because Blitzcrank's there to stop him. He's able to get out with the Lantern. Solid positioning from Tits, keeping his teammates safe, but both mid laners on very low health bars.
Yeah, Digital Monster getting I mean, good lantern from its tits, but a little bit lucky there that Blitzcrank Hook didn't come in just a second sooner.
Absolutely.
because
I'm
he's been
surprised
on
we're
both
seeing
of them.
so much of a focus from the top lane, though. We thought that their focus would be in the bot lane, but there hasn't been really anything happening there other than a few picks from Green Boys' hooks on automatic. So, like, there's just,
Yeah,
these teams have been up in top lane like 8 different times.
yeah, it's been a lot of top lane focus from these junglers on both teams really.
Gold
One thing
dead
we're not,
even. For
we're
both.
not making note of this though. 40 CS advantage onto Lucian, 20 CS advantage onto Annie, and about 30 onto Shen. So great CS from all one lane in
Might
comparison.
be in trouble
Good play.
here. The good flight comes through. That's going to be a kill for sure as Hero of Termina tries to answer, but that's 3 Menias on him. I don't think he can kite this one out. Cullen comes through, but it will be the kill. And now they're going to be able to turn it around. The damage comes through. Sion's passive is going to be the first one to go down, but now Andy flashes in, only to get taken out right after. Hero of Termina is still alive as the Malefic Vengeance finally run him down, and we see in the mid lane, the junglers are going underneath the turret. It's going to go in the favor of the Olaf. And globally, a 2 for 4, this time again in the favor of Always Hostile.
These fights seem to go in that favor of always hostile, like I was saying earlier, but they certainly, all one lane looked like they were going to turn that in their favor pretty hard. Great exhaust coming out from its tits onto Annie right as he was using the Tibbers ultimate. Just basically that alone saving Animaniac on the Ashe, so good exhaust.
We saw with the exhaust in play even how much damage this Annie has. With the Ludens, with the Morellos, it was still too much for one lane to handle.
Absolutely devastating damage on Annie, that exhaust, and like as you mentioned, that's through the exhaust. This next fight, I would imagine if it happens anytime soon, they will not have an exhaust, and Annie will be able to do full damage at will, basically. Of course, flashing in that fight to get that Tibbers ult off, but
It's actually a build thing that I want to talk about here. Hero of Termina has picked up a Black Cleaver.
Black Cleaver Blade of the Rune King, definitely a strong build, but a little bit more of a tank shredding build, without a doubt. Not necessarily a bad thing against a Sion and an Olaf, but I feel like that's a little bit of the older build.
Mix up between the two, maybe.
Definitely not a bad build still, though.
Always Hostile holding their turrets up strongly. They've only lost 1 turret, and they still have their middle turret up. 25 minutes approaching into this game, so they've done a good job of keeping care of those turrets, but a fight might break out here. It's going to be going in the favor of Always Hostile like it has been for the arrow onto the AD carry of all one lane, and now things are dropping to pieces. Always Hostile managed to find something, but
Another good
so
hook.
do all one lane as they get a pick on the Olaf, who's still not dead, finally goes down, but the push is still strong for Always Hostile here.
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised Drakkar lived that long. Another good lantern from
They
its
have to be
tits.
careful with the Annie as they pull in Sion. A lot of damage to come through, but not enough for a kill. And will be enough to back off the push of Always Hostile, but once again, they're able to lock down some of the members. This time it was Hero of Termina, and they got the kill. The
Luden's Echo finished on Annie, too. Something to watch out for. That's just going to give her that much more damage, and it's just going to be a little bit of an AoE splash on it. Throw that in with a Tibbers ultimate, and you got yourself some good one-shot potential there.
Now going for a little bit of magic resistance as well in the build, and 3 control wards coming out of Annie, 2 out of Blitzcrank and 1 out of Shen. So they're absolutely looking to get vision control.
I'm anticipating a Banshee's Veil from Annie, not wanting Malzahar to just be able to throw down an ult onto her.
Probably that might be what they go for here. They're trying to sneak a kill here, and they may well do so. Vlim's got a lot of damage onto Kaisermoore, but he is going to be able to get out with the safety and the lack of vision that they have on that side of the map.
And Olaf using his ultimate there, the Ragnarok, down now for this next fight. But
It's gonna be
not
really big if they're able to pull in the Olaf again. He still doesn't have his flash up, so if they're able to find it in the next, let's say 30 seconds, that would be a dead Olaf automatically. A little scary position that did the monster. The hook won't land though. As it's a back and forth as they get the stun again onto Hero of Termini. He's gonna be able to kite back as though in this fight. As Annie is way too close for comfort, gets taken down, and this is going in the favor of All-One Lane this time around. They can pick up a few more kills. So for it's just a 1-for-1. Strong positioning though, as Annie could not get the burst damage he needed off.
damage advantage for All-One Lane, but a pretty good job just making it a 1-for-1 trade on the side of Always Hostile. The Flash,
Flash from Game
nothing gonna
Boy,
come.
not find anything.
A little bit of an antsy Flash there. He was looking for a kill, but nobody in
Things
range.
Maybe in the favor of Always Hostile here is there's two Inferno
Another
Drakes, but the third is never spawned. So it does make things maybe a little more accepting as the taunt lands onto 2.
And that's
This
actually
is
their fourth
not
Drake.
going in the favor of Always Hostile this time around. Olaf taken low, taken out.
That's actually their fourth Drake, because they have they did pick up the Mountain Drake earlier, but now a Cloud Drake. They'll get that extra movement speed when they're not in combat, anyways.
I'm not sure if there's enough time for a 5th dragon to come in here for All-One Lane, but still, either way, an incredibly close game despite the difference in dragons.
It's 35 for
Yes.
all right for
Elder.
the Elder. So 6 minutes on Drake. There should be, but just barely.
Just barely. All in all, Always Hostile strong on the push here. They're not going to let their turret go down immediately, though.
Knocked up, but
Not taken by Digilamonso. That's going to cost him his life on that one. And it's also going to be Kaiser taken low as well. 2 kills for All-One Lane. Strong defense.
I'm expecting them to go straight for a Baron right now. You have 2 members down, and
You
this
stop
right
the
here.
LF on the bottom lane. You do the Baron. And there's the rest of Always Hustle back off. They know they can't contend this. And that is going to split the gold wide open from dead even to a little bit ahead as well.
And dead even in the gold. Always Hostile been doing a good job of pushing out. You can see that mid tower just really low, only a couple hits away from dropping, but good fight from All-One Lane to keep it up and get 2 kills. They secure the Baron, and now they can really take a big lead with this if they play this right.
Gonna see where this goes though. Like I said earlier, if All-One Lane managed to win this, if they managed to come back with this Baron play, close the series out 2-0, excellent. Otherwise, it's pretty late, and nighttime can get on the player's mind, so we'll see how this pans out if we manage to pull it down to a series. Definitely, pulls at the mental strings of the players, so we're gonna see where it comes out.
Dead even in the kills as well. So, fight-wise,
21 to
teams are
21.
even.
30 minutes on the clock. This time it's going to be All-One Lane that's strong on the push. But you have to consider that there's a good amount of wave clear between the Malzahar, between the Scion even.
There
safe
is.
enough to get the front line.
Yeah, but you do have Shen backing, but I was going to say Shen's pushing the bot lane that could force a lot of pressure down there, maybe force 1 or 2 people down if he would have continued, but he's going to actually go top and match the Olaf up there before he gets a chance to do much damage to their tower.
Indeed.
Of course,
Phantom
no
Dancer
teleport.
On
teleport on
Tear of
Olaf.
Terminia now. A Banshee's Veil successfully picked up on the side of Kid of Fire. He's actually going to tower dive. This one's a very tanky Olaf. He's just ignoring the turret, but it's a very tanky Shen as well. A bit of damage trade back and forth. He still has to be careful as I guess that display of power was shown, and a little bit of trouble for
Pull
some
the
of the members here.
Scion.
They pull in the Scion. Good block by Kaisermo to save his team on this one. nothing's happening just yet. They're dancing around each other.
Oh my
They're actually
goodness.
gonna try and blow up the front side, and the front lane tank gets deleted through the damage of all one lane. They're gonna keep on pushing.
Actually, Leaf of Freeze opting to just teleport in. No need to use the ultimate there. You can use that shield later on.
They managed to find a pick that may just be what breaks the base here. Green Boys is looking for it, but he may not be able to find anything
I
here.
don't think. Okay.
Oh, the
They're
flash
going
chuck,
to.
it lands on Automatic! Can you believe it? But it's not going how they wanted to. Green Boys is going to be the first victim as the fight, as the Olaf's taken incredibly low and taken out. Here of Germany with the culling damage is able to almost find a kill on Tits Tats. As they keep going back and forth, a 2-for-1 total for kills, but in that fight specifically 1-for-1.
I don't think that they really need to force anything here on the side of all one lane. Now they're going to be probably backing off a little bit now that there's a little bit of low health bar on the Annie. But
Baron starting to tick away as well for all one lane, so signs of life perhaps despite that very back and forth fight for Always Hostile here.
ooh, good Ash arrow.
Oh, the arrow lands as well. Stand United, there's a giant shield, but they have even more giant damage. The kill is not going to happen onto Sign as he has more than enough shields to stay alive.
Brought him very low though, and he's shown that he is very killable still, even though he is as tanky as he is. And just a quick update on it, he is actually at only 147 farm right now. He seems to have just kind of stopped farming for the most part, while Shen continuing to build up a bigger and bigger lead, now at about 60 or almost 80, sorry. So definitely I'd like to see him try and, especially while all one lane has this Baron, try and get a little bit of that farm.
Dragon spawning up in 20 seconds here.
Another
All lane
Infernal.
are more than prepped for it. They're having nightmares if they manage to pick up that third Infernal Dragon. They have to contend this, and they cannot hand it over. There it is. What may well be the possible final fight with the Death Timers being incredibly high now. We're gonna see where this one goes. And he has to be very careful. That's a Ragnarok Olaf in the top lane who does not care about turrets. And the fight breaks out towards the Dragon Pit. It's actually going to be Always Hostile that pick up the Dragon. So the third Infernal will not be going over to all one lane. But Hero of Germany is still up and healthy. He still has the damage to take out the Scion passive. No members of Always Hostile have died just yet as Annie comes back out of nowhere. And they're going to keep pushing onwards. Its Tits goes down. 2 for none so far. They deny the final Infernal Dragon.
Tracker standing on a ward.
Oh boy. That is not where you want to be backing, but he is still an incredibly tanky Olaf, even if he's in full vision. As the turrets start getting knocked over, they're not going to let him back either, but he can just turn around and kill Leaf of Freeze. Not
He can, but they're going to take an inhib for it.
getting the inhibitors while he's distracting them. They may not be able to pick up any return kills, but they may also not get the inhibitor. If they try and overstay with all the men up now, it could be disaster for all one lane. They're gonna get it, but at no cost, actually.
Good job by Leaf of Freeze. Actually, not even dying in that trade, just distracting. Not
well,
dying.
your
Good
host,
Ash arrow.
ladies and gentlemen, Ash Arrow on a Kid of Fire. Sign ulti's not gonna work the magic. The burst cannot land, and that is a beautiful pick onto Kid of Fire. Automatic
And now-
landing these Ash ults, being able to secure picks for his team.
Baron coming up in 40 seconds. That'll give them a good chance to get Vision over by it, and hopefully they can set up for it.
A 4,500 gold lead still exists for all one lane, but if the Baron's able to get picked up here, it would
Okay,
be
Shen.
absolutely what they want. They have a lot of damage in crowd control and a Shen, but here Terminius
Ooh.
dealing the damage has to back off. This could go bad for Always Hostile as their front line's getting ripped to pieces. Thresh will be the next target, but Olaf's just running through him, ignoring all the crowd control. Green Boys is trying to make it happen while Drakar's trying to do the same on the other half. And now the two are going to duke it out with each other. Here Terminia just has too much damage, as that's going to be a 3-for-0 in favor of all one lane and possibly the Baron.
And 4-on-9 on Olaf, but he's still very scary. Just a little bit of a miscommunication there. His whole team backed off, and he was still kind of in that fight. Ended up 1v3ing and dying for it, but I mean, he lived for a very long time.
Before Drakar's up, they may not be able to defend this turret. 10 before Kaiser's up, so they're only going to lose that turret, but now they're going to be going for the Baron, but Kid of Fire is nowhere in sight. They may not need him for this, but
it looks like
yeah,
Always Hostile doesn't have a clue. They might have a clue, but maybe it's just
The
too risky of a
burn
play
damage
in their minds.
mean-
Yeah.
the Evelyn and the red buff on Lucian, it doesn't matter really. 37 minutes in, an 8,000 gold lead coming in for all one lane, a back and forth game, but they may as well have found the ground they needed to.
With that Baron, all one lane should be able to close this game out with that Baron. All outer towers taken, mid lane inhib taken. I would throw Shen into the top lane and the rest of the team into the bot lane with that Shen ultimate up. You can push both lanes, and you're gonna either have a fight that you can win with a Shen ultimate, or you're gonna draw the pressure enough in the top lane to get a tower in the bot lane. Likely, eventually,
Both
if you
teams
spell it out.
lying in wait to try and get a pick. If they manage to find something here, that would be disaster for Always Hostile, but they're not going to find it. A little bit of back and forth in the top lane, but how much do you want to commit to this Leaf of Freeze? That Olaf is gonna beat you eventually, and he pops the Ragnarok. He's going all in on this one. Slowly but surely, but
A lot of damage from that
back and
Olaf. But
forth. They're still both incredibly tanky. But Olaf's going to be regenerating that health as to where Leaf of Freeze isn't. He can't commit too many resources onto him, though, because his team's getting pushed in the bot lane. The taunt messes back and forth, but all one lane on the lead, because they're going to get a second inhibitor. If they're lucky, they could try and get a pick, but it's not going to happen. It's all in peril mode for Always Hostiles. They have to defend their base. Maybe they could force an engage.
Ooh, another good arrow.
Ash
But
Hour lands, but it's Q assist off immediately from the Mikhails.
good Mikhail's Crucible, just to be sure that nobody on the team gets caught out when you have Baron. And actually, I mean, Leaf of Freeze losing the trade technically to Dracker, but did exactly what he had to do to keep him occupied and not join the
Buying
team in
time.
bot lane.
Really? The Green Blues is going to try and find a hook here. Beautiful dodge out of Jitkar. No kills going to be coming through there. Year of Termini is actually coming up from the sides. They're going to commit to this and try and kill him. He's going to have to fight or flight. He's going to fight, but does not have an HP pool at all as he gets chased down. Will be able to get out or not. The flash
Ooh.
comes in. The kill from Kid of Fire. This may be the fight that all one lane is needed all game, as they manage to get up 2 kills. Kid of Fire not dying, and they're gonna push down the mid lane. 3v5.
2 kills, 2 inhibitors down. All one lane could very easily win this raid
They
here.
find a
Shen
lot of
teleporting.
damage onto Sion. They're gonna be looking for their second match
Oh, and he
victory.
teleporting,
They're
my
not
apologies.
gonna give Always Hostile the momentum victory that they need. The 2-0 to come in. There's still members up on this one, but they just have to focus the Nexus. Can they do it in time? Year of Termini is on it. The exhaust comes through, but it does not matter. All one lane, come back in a victory. 2-0.
Excellent 2-0 win for all one lane. They looked really, really good in both of these games. They looked really good. Good team play, good rotations. For the most part, they won pretty much every aspect of both games.
Indeed. It was a rough series, a little bit hard fought and earned victory for all one lane. They're going to be able to take a breather after this one.
Yeah, definitely hard fought wins, but very much needed wins. Actually, both teams needed these wins, and all one lane coming out with a 2-0, 3 points for them.
A
they find
71
themselves-
assists as well.
They
for
should
the
find themselves
side.
into a playoff spot now, too, off of that.
Possibly indeed. 71 assists on the side of all one lane. 53 is nothing to scoff at either for Always Hostile, but really the assists have been the story of these games, really.
Yeah, just great team play from all one lane in both games. Certainly could have gone a lot more either way in the second game, but all one lane, just good team play all around. Ended up getting them that win right there. And of course, great objective control, picking up 5 dragons, 2 barons, really just kind of suffocating Always Hostile out of that game by taking objectives.
Indeed. Let's talk this specific game. Who do you feel really deserves MVP on the side of all one lane here?
This game was kind of a clown fiesta. A lot of kills coming out for both teams, but one person that I think remained consistent through it all was Hero of Termina here. Obviously, you can see from the scoreline 13, 3, and 12, he really didn't allow himself to become a negative part of that clown fiesta. So I would say him coming out with, I mean, great farm, a lot of damage, and just overall, just great play with his team. I mean, positioning himself well, picking up kills, and then off the back of it, they basically could grab the objective of their choice. So I think I give it to Hero of Termina for that game.
I absolutely have to agree. Hero of Termina played strong, 13-3-12, did not allow himself to get killed, and if it isn't for that scoreline, I would almost want to give it to Kidifier. He was the damage that his team needed, but I do feel that for this specific match, this game 2 right here, I feel like Hero of Termina not letting himself get caught out in these crazy fights. He did get caught out only those 3 times, and those are the times that Always Hostile were able to push forward, were able to make the plays happen, but I do agree, Hero of Termina, MVP of this game, but who do you feel deserves MVP of the series?
I would actually say Hero of Termina in this one as well. Great game on the Tristana. The Tristana gets banned out and comes back and says, hey, I can play Lucian too. Does a great job on the Lucian as well. As we just talked about, great positioning. Maybe a couple of times here and there where he got a little bit over aggressive, but I would say just for the most part, I mean, he played with great positioning, played with his team really well, and kind of put them on his back a couple of times there.
Absolutely. I would want to second that as well. I'd say Green Boys also really played good as well, but not good enough. He did find a few great picks onto Ananek, onto Jakar, but I feel like I have to agree with you on this one as well. Hero of Termina played really good throughout the entire series. He was the carry that his team needed. He stayed alive. He got the kills. And while there were a few moments here and there in the Tristana match, a little bit overzealous under the turret, and a very, very few times in this game where the engaged potential of Always Hostile were able to pick him off, it didn't happen that often. So I'm going to agree as well. Hero of Termina gets MVP series.
Yeah, and absolutely, Green Boys, great job getting him ahead in both games. As you mentioned, an argument could easily be made for him, but I do agree. Hero of Termina just slightly edging him out for player of the game here. So, you Hero of Termina, if you want to jump up into the general lobby, someone can pull you down into the casters lobby, and then we can get an interview going.
Absolutely. Some victory cheers coming in the chat here from all one lane as well. They're happy with that win, and they needed it too. If they hadn't got upset by the brand new team Always Hostile, that would put them so negative in terms of series points. So that would have just been really demoralizing if they had lost that, despite and being forced to go to a game 3 at this hour.
Yeah, definitely, and Always Hostile, not a pushover team by any means. But all one lane, just great team play all around.
Anyways,
Hero
of Termina, welcome to the lobby. Well, congratulations on winning those 2 games and winning the MVP. I ask, how does it feel to win those 2 games?
Well, honestly, I didn't win the game. It was a team effort. I really like Green Boy. I think his play was fantastic throughout the series. Kidifier was also great in the series. The press, my homeboy, the press, also great. Everyone on the team's just great. Good synergy, and we're definitely improving.
Yeah, and you've shown a lot of improvement over the course of the past few weeks. Great team play just all around today. What did you guys work on throughout the week? Like, you guys have improved so much over the past few weeks. And, I mean, they just took down Guardian Gaming, the #1 team, and you had relatively easy work of them in both of those games for the most part. What kind of communication was going on there? Like, what improved?
Honestly, I feel like Green Boy and Kid stepped up. Green Boy definitely our leader of the team, so he just makes it really easy for me to get fed and just do what I do, you know, auto attack, get the most damage of the game.
Is he doing the shot calling on the team as well?
Yes, but so is our pretty much the team. But yeah, but you know, he's the one that steps up when like important plays happen, like Baron calls or Dragon calls. Uh, but yeah, I'd say he's a shot caller. Yeah, really good shot caller. Also shout out to our top laner, cause this is his first game with us. So he did really well. He didn't crack under pressure or anything like that. So good job, guy. Really
Yeah,
proud
and
of him.
he seemed to play really well on the Shen both games. Was that the team comp that you guys kind of planned to go in with? Now a couple, I would imagine, target bans, just stuff that we didn't really expect, not really power picks banned. What was that, like a Shen that you just planned on playing Shen both games, or what kind of a team comp were you looking for there?
Honestly, in terms of team comp, I let like Green Boy really handle that. So I just sit back, you know, he tells me, "Oh, I play this champion." Okay, I'll play this champion. So, but I know, him coming to the team, he said he was really good with Shen. We played a couple games. I trusted Shen. I trust him to ult when it matters. So he just showed up big. Honestly, I expected him to show up because he's a good player. He's a good guy. So.
Walking into this series against Always Hostile, 2-0ing it, the #1 team Guardian Gaming in, frankly, convincing fashion, were you guys a little shooken up walking into the series as a whole, or were you having your heads held high?
Oh boy, we were fired up. Kid got us fired up. Green Boy got us fired up. We knew we had to get this win to make it playoffs. So we're trying really hard right now. So it was really great to get a 2-0. Quick, clean 2-0, Kappa.
All right. Excellent stuff coming out of you and your team this series as a whole.
I do have to ask one more question. Now, obviously, you played really well in Tristana. They decided to ban that game too, and you came back on the Lucian. Is your champion pool just like deep? Can you be banned out? Like, you played just as good, if not even better, on the Lucian. What what can we expect out of your champion pool? Because is that just infinitely deep?
I don't want to give up too many secrets, but I can play what the team needs. If it needs me to go Draven, I'll go Draven. If it needs me to go Ashe, I'll go Ashe, kind of thing. But yeah, I just let my boy Green Boy decide for me because I know he has my back. You know, it was good for us. I love you, Green Boy. But yeah, choose me right. Tells me what to do, and I just have to auto attack.
All right. You being the MVP, I believe we have a Victor song that we play as well for said MVP. So, what would you want the song to be?
Oh boy. I guess.
No rush at all.
Let me think. What's appropriate? That doesn't get us banned. All right. Let me see if I can pull it up here. But yeah, just in the meantime, I really do want to shout out my whole team though. Like, we're stepping up. We came from a last place team with like no wins to like in a winning streak. So I'm really proud of them. Keeping their head high, staying consistent with practice. All right, let me link it to you boys. 1 second.
Alright.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, your team play's definitely been coming around. You've shown a lot of improvement over the course of the past few weeks. So definitely props to you guys. Congratulations.
Absolutely. I have one more question coming in here for you. Fridge might have more, but walking into your second victory, you've taken down Always Hostile, the new team. Are there any teams in particular that you're worried about, or is it you treat each game the same walking into it, regardless of if they're 6th place or 1st place?
Honestly, there's not really a team I'm worried about specifically. We treat each team the same, no matter what standing they have. So, honestly, yeah, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid. There's no ADK right now that I'm really worried about. I feel like I can match up well with anyone. Yeah, we come into the game with a fresh mindset, so there's not we're not really scared of any team. We just treat each team the same. You know, we all think we're gonna win a Swift 2-0, so we plan for that, and that's what we did now. Swift 2-0, baby.
Alright, great stuff coming in. For sure.
Alright, so I linked you the song, so I
Yeah.
wanna.
Aries, I think, should be the one that has to get that going, correct?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
Okay.
Let us show you, Green Boy.
All right. I actually don't think I have any more questions as of now. Just wanted to say just excellent job out of you guys. You guys looked really strong today. You've looked really strong the past couple of weeks. Certainly looking like you guys might be turning around to be a force to be reckoned with here in the coming weeks. Now going into the best of ones next week, if I'm not mistaken. What sorts of expectations do you have for that? I guess would be my last question.
We're have high hopes right now, so we're looking to beat every team, every game that we're going against, and making the playoffs, and winning it all. That's how confident we are.
Alright.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a really good win for our team. Great to be a part of it. Great organization, communication, especially with Kid. Very good guy. Keeps us all in check. Tells me to buy control words every game. So glad to know we have people like that.
Good guy, AD carry, actually buying control awards.
Alright. So there is that, all in all, an excellent series coming in, a great victory, a great 2-0 for your team as well. Congratulations on the wins, but we are here at Duo Esports going to close it up. Us have all one lane 2-0. We're going to be 2-0ing ourselves as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to these series of games here, for watching. Viewer count hit near 30 a few times when I saw, so thank you to my partner in crime, Fridge.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
The teams here that have been playing, to All One Lane and to Always Hostile for putting up a great performance, but especially for the viewers for watching. Thank you so much, and we'll see you around.